Hello everyone and welcome to the fourth episode in my Introduction to NodeJS tutorial series. Now in this video we are going to be talking about building a simple web server using Node. Now you've probably, if you've been on this channel for a while, you've probably heard me talk about like web servers and all that, and you may not actually be too familiar. And especially if you have used or followed my like CSS mini-series or my Intro to NodeJS mini-series, my Introduction to Web Development series, you would have actually already been using a web server this whole time without even realizing. And that's that little Go Live button that we used to click on the bottom. That is actually a web server that we're using. So to just show that off first, actually, I'm going to go ahead and create an index.html and just create a blank page like this. And then I'm going to reload my window because you have to have a fresh window. And then you'll see here, soon enough on the bottom side, we will get a little, at some point we will get most likely a Go Live button. And if that doesn't show up, right here. So yeah, there's this Go Live button right here. And if I click on that, notice now it'll open up our blank page, and I'm going to write hello world because we're going to need this file in this video. I'm going to create a h1 hello world. And so this web server right here has actually been, or this little Go Live button, this little live server extension has actually been creating a web server for us. But in this video, we're going to create one that works just like this, and then in future videos, or actually in the spin-off of this series, we'll be able to kind of do even more with the web servers specifically. So yeah, I don't want to get too off track to start, so I'm going to go ahead and fix that. And let's keep that there, move this there as well. Okay, so as first, I'm going to go ahead and start off with a quick recap. In the previous video, we talked about using the FS module, and we actually also used the readline module. This is how you import modules. You do constant, and then you create a variable with the name, and then you set it equal to require, and then the package name in a string. And that will actually get the package. Now, to actually use the package, you want to look up the documentation probably, so FS documentation. And I already knew it kind of for this package specifically, but you can read through some of this, or you can go like FS tutorial, and then it'll teach you like this is what you can do. You can go fs.readFileSync. This will read the contents of the file into a string or into a buffer, and then what we'll do here is we'll write the file, the same file with the new contents. So that is the FS module that handles reading and writing files to your system. And then we use the readline module, which is responsible for actually letting us use input in Node. This isn't super common because usually you won't be manually inputting stuff into your Node terminal. But for testing purposes, this is what we are using. That way I can show you the interactivity of Node. So then we create a question, new contents, and then the user types in the new contents, and we overwrite it. So just to get you a quick recap of how that works, so we have hello in this text.txt, and then we're going to go ahead and come into our folder here, and we're going to say node index.js, and by typing that it'll say file contents hello, and then let's just say goodbye, and then we hit enter, it ends the program, and if I open up test.txt, it now has goodbye in it, and that is because of this code here in our index.js. So in this video, we're going to be talking about expressjs. So as I said, whenever we want to use something, we want to look up the documentation, or we can say express tutorial. Sorry about the bird in the background. But so yeah, see Express Web Framework. Okay, prerequisites. It'll tell you to install Node and all that. We may want to use this Mozilla one, although I'm going to take a look at a faster one, maybe on the Express website itself. So this is the website. Let's see. Docs. Guides, maybe? Guide section. And then getting started. Okay, so how do I get started with Node.js after I've installed it? So it kind of gives you this whole beginning here, but this doesn't actually look quite right for the standard the standard start for Express. So I'm just gonna go to this MDN, which is Mozilla Firefox. This is the company that kind of hosts these tutorials. So hello Node.js. So this is the code that they give us. Okay, so I'm just going to copy and paste all of this here. And instead, we're going to replace our current file with this. And what this is doing now, whoops, I didn't fully replace it. So what we're doing is we're loading in the HTTP module. We are creating an HTTP server, and then we are listening for the port. And what this ends up doing is this starts a server at our local host, which is kind of what the live server extension is doing. But I'm just realizing that this isn't using Express. So yeah, this is what we're looking for here. So what we're doing here is first, we need to come into our folder that we have our project. And as always, when we're installing a third-party package, we need to type in npm install express. And that allows us to get access to the Express JavaScript package, which is what we're using in this video. And then now that we've installed it, now we can go const express equals require express. And what this will do is this will import the Express code, and Express is the kind of framework that we're using to create a web server. And then this is part of Express. As you can see, it's in this tutorial here. We're creating an app and we're running Express because this Express here is actually a function that we're importing. So we can run Express and that creates our app. And then we're setting our port here in a variable to 3000. A port is just like this right here. The port is 5500. You type in the IP and then the port after a colon. That's how web technology works, or just, that's how the web works. And then what we're saying here is app.get/, and then that's the first argument we pass. The second argument is a function, and then we have this, and I'll explain all this in a moment, and then we app.listen to the port. So this may look a little bit confusing to you at first, but if I run the code index.js, you'll notice it says example app listening on port 3000. And what I can do now is I can say 127.0.0.1 colon, and then since we're listening on port 3000, I can type 3000 slash, and then if I type enter now, it should not fail. Let's make sure that this is working. Although actually I'm gonna go ahead and go to localhost 3000 and see if that makes a difference. Yeah, okay. And maybe it was the slash. No. Okay, so instead of going to 127.0.0.1, specifically if you are working with WSL, it doesn't like that generally. So actually just go to localhost 3000, and it actually usually means the same thing. So again, localhost 3000, and all that means is you're connecting to our web server, and you see hello world here on the screen. Why is that? Well, you can see here, we typed in app.get, and then we provided a slash. And what this slash is representing is the route. And basically on a website, you can go to many routes. Like you can go to /home or /blog/5 or something. And this /blog/5 is the actual route that the user is heading to on a website. So when you just put a slash here, it means no route usually. It means just going to the top of the page. So like google.com, there's nothing like // it's just google.com, and that's the slash route. It's the root. And then when we're there, res, res, and rec stands for the request that the user is making to the server, and the res means the response that the server is sending. So we are, as a user, are making a request to this web server, and it is sending a response that says hello world, and that's why it gets printed here on our screen. And then all this line is doing is saying app.listen, and we're listening on the 3000 port, which is what starts our server. And then this code, example app listening, notice it just gets printed right here, and that's what it's doing. So just to kind of, this is just a very basic introduction to Express, because I want to cover this whole framework in much more detail in a future series after this Intro to Node.js series. I'm going to just go over the basic way to send our HTML file. So we can say res.send file, and let me just use some express send file just to make sure that I send HTML file. Just to make sure I'm doing this correctly. This is a DigitalOcean tutorial. Same thing here, except now you run res.send file, yeah, and then path join __ dir name, and then /index.html. And this may look a little bit confusing, but let me just make sure it works before I talk. Index.js, we run this, and if I reload this, okay, see, we get an error here. So path is not defined. Notice I used path.join, and path is actually another Node.js module. So if I go const path equals require path, now it should work. So yeah, there's a lot of module usage in Node.js. And now that we have that, it says example app listening on port 3000. If I reload, notice we get our hello world. Same thing as our live server, except now we just get it because we created the web server that serves us this index.html file. And that is the beginnings of how to kind of create web servers. And in theory, if you notice here, we can actually return anything. We don't always have to return a website. So this is how we can make the user ask our server for information, and we can give it certain information. Maybe our web server will go out and collect some information from the internet and return it back to the website. And this is kind of the extent to everything a web server can do. So we'll be definitely covering that much further in a dedicated series, mini series to Express, which will be most likely after this Node.js introductory tutorial series. So yeah, if you want to see more videos like this, I recommend you check out the playlist, which is linked in the description, where I'm uploading daily. If you enjoyed the video, please consider giving it a thumbs up, subscribe and hit the bell icon for notifications whenever I post new videos. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.